brains loose, slick with ectoplasmic juice. Ecstatic energy, a fire that fuels our memory. With genealogy, with spiritual topography. Questions for your answers, we are data necromancers. You piece of shit! I twitch. The vein in your forehead is throbbing.
I felt like I did something for womanhood.
Absolutely.
Oh God, I hope some
we make
woman,
tiny steps forward.
I hope some woman on the other side of the earth is just having a better time because I
Reaping
have
the
to go through
benefits
that.
of being trusted for her expertise. I was thinking about women in our role in society this morning, just because I saw that Nikki Haley is running for president. Nikki Haley was the governor, the first person of color governor for South Carolina. And she was also in Trump's cabinet as the ambassador to, I forget, I don't know.
The bullet farm? Was she chancellor of the gun farm?
I'm chancellor of the gun farm.
Chancellor of the gun farm. Harvester of bullets.
But Nikki Haley is like, she's of Indian descent. Her parents are Indian immigrants, and I guess she grew up in South Carolina and then became, active in politics. But her, I don't know, just like that headline on the New York Times homepage, I was like, this is interesting, man. This is fucking interesting. Like, women can rise up and take roles of power, but they can be just as ineffective as men in those roles, Because, like, Kamala Harris hasn't been able to really get anything done because her...
Okay, when I saw that he picked her, and I was like, you picked her because she's a woman of color and she's a woman, and you didn't look at anything else. It was just, like, really frustrating. But
yeah, I don't know. It's
it also
hard.
doesn't it feel sexist to assume that a woman should be XYZ though?
Absolutely. Like, a woman will be better at X. It's like, that feels kind of gross to me to assume that just based on somebody's gender, they're going to behave a certain way. But you would think that after, I don't know, centuries and centuries of oppression and second tier citizenship, or whatever it's called, second-class citizenship, women, what has that done to us, to our collective psyche? Like, do we just assume of ourselves that we're second-class citizens and we don't really go for it? But then again, there's like female astronauts, there's a billion female doctors, and I don't know. It just makes me think, like, what is the actual truth?
Well, I don't think you'll find any sort of actual truth anywhere near government or policy. It's all about
like the bending of facts to make them like expedient towards a specific goal.
And it's so fucking deep fried.
Yeah.
It's deep fried. It's contorted. It's all a scam. Mm-hmm. It's all a scam. Like, I saw that Democrats were talking about how dangerous socialism is. And I'm just like, no one cares about us because anything that you give to the commoner is socialism, and it's been purposefully degraded and on purpose so that politicians can just keep playing the game.
Socialism is such a buzzword that everybody wants to distance themselves from because it would call into question like the free market. And the free market has always been our like pride and joy, like the best son of our legacy. The free market is why America is so successful and like runs the planet. The free market is like why there is no discrimination there's no structural racism. Right, and it's the free market. Everything's determined by your productive power.
And then the pendulum swings into it's an oligarchy. It's like it's just the rich people are in charge, and by people I mean corporations, and corporations are people in this society now. So and I'm just like, what? Everybody's always talking about what's behind them. It's always what I have a huge problem with when Republicans start talking about the economy. I'm like, they always want to go back to this
Reaganomics,
and I'm like, it's 2023. Could we come up with something No. Like something forward thinking. You know, we always go back to examples and ways that it doesn't work. And I'm like, aren't we an innovative country?
Yes. Well, yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, can't we come up with something that's beyond the hurdle of what is and into something that's more sensical? But they can't think that way. They just gotta cockfight until they bleed. And
yeah, it's so unsettling to think about another election cycle.
Because it's just the same. It's just the same thing over and over again. You could put anybody in there.
Yeah, I remember Halloween a few years ago, whenever that was, the Mike Pence with the fly on his head. That was something I remember from the election cycle a few years ago.
That was kind of gross watching that. Like, ooh, there's something is
something is going on.
Dying? That's not a good look on TV.
I think people
to have
expected
a fly.
like his little earlobe to open and go, and then like inside is a.
That's what I was waiting for too. You're like, yeah, you're all cadaver people. None of you are alive. Yeah, it's like putting a person in charge of a Death Star. It's like you're in charge of flying the entire thing. No, you're not. It's like full of people and systems and parts, and
that's what baffles me about it. It's like if you think about all of the people on this planet and all the different issues that need attention.
One guy.
One guy.
Oh, one guy.
Well, with an extensive bureaucracy full of people, like this motherfucker is in charge of pruning the hedge on the White House lawn, and like just like we're so specialized and like stratified. It boggles the mind to think about the way governments are set up and who deals with shit.
I was reading about the beginning of Congress, like the beginning of representation via statehood on a federal level, right? In 1789, right? There's no internet back then, I don't think. Okay, so you had to pick a person, and that person had to travel to DC. Then they had to stay in DC because there was no internet. You had to pick a person and fly them on their Pegasus horse. And they had to spend a long fucking time traveling, and they weren't going to send a letter, back then, because you couldn't. It's like, so originally, this is already fucking archaic. You do not have to do this anymore. You do not have to pick a fucking now that people can speak. We're at that point now.
Yes, that I think brings up so many more like facets of being in 2023. Have you looked into the Chat GP phenomenon?
No.
It's like an AI bot that can write comments on things, but they like can spam posts with like comments. So you would think that, social media and the internet would be a great way for people to get politically engaged, but it turns out it's not as easy to tell who's a human and who's a bot.
And that's the issue, right? Is that it immediately gets into like, well, who's gonna fucking get in there and
it makes
fuck
like face-to-face interactions a lot more reliable than internet interactions.
I think that there's a way around it. Just because I'm an optimistic futurist.
Yeah.
I just think that there's a way around it, and I would hire everybody who tries to infiltrate it and spam it. Be like, go stop. Do you want to work for me? Like, just stop. Like, I want you to protect me from people like you. Like,
but even it's just like Russia and China's involvement in our political realm.
Oh, okay.
It's
so
hard
the
to
next
thwart.
jump is to learn how to just travel via space time and then just show up someplace. So then,
instantaneously.
Yes.
Yeah, like the quantum shit.
Yeah, so we need a quantum president.
Is anybody working on teleportation? I know some of you are. My question about teleportation is, how can you keep all of your memories and thoughts and everything if all of your particles are completely, they have to be arranged anew. It's like you're in one little tube and then it scans all of your particles and then it destroys you and then you're rebuilt in this other tube in this other place.
I don't know. Like, I think about that a lot too, and it's like it can't have anything to do with the third dimension or matter. It's gotta be...
But that's the place where we exist.
I know. Maybe we'll just 3D print bodies. Like, knowing humans... You can travel now at the speed of light.
Into the machine.
Yeah, but just use your suit and then throw it away when you're done. And then like the Earth gets overtaken by human body landfill because we're always busy traveling, 3D printing each other.
Oh, like we figure out how to exist outside of our bodies.
Yeah, or it's like, okay, I want to go from here to Tennessee in 30 seconds. Okay, so I do that, but I have to destroy this suit. Right. And then I get a new suit and then we become the sausage planet. We become the sausage planet.
We are the sausage planet. Woo. Okay, so we went from...
Yeah, that was a lot.
Women's roles in society to politics to... Well, we wanted to vent about the frustrating interactions between the sexes. Just trust us.
Trust us until we fuck up and then never trust us ever again. No, I'm just kidding.
Just give us the benefit of the doubt.
Dudes fuck up all the time. They just don't talk about it the way that women like fall into the pit of despair if they fuck up.
Yeah.
Guys will go, yeah, I fucked up, whatever, move on. And then girls are like, yes.
I'm questioning my validity in this realm because I made a mistake. Yeah. I don't deserve to live.
Then we went to bureaucracy and then sausage world.
And we briefly talked about social media infiltration from Russian and Chinese bots. Because democracy is vital, but how do we actually hear what people want?
Whoa. What a timely bit to echo into the
Cheers.
I want to hear your burp.
I should have done it into the mic.
You should have done it into the mic. You 100% should have done it in the mic. I don't know. I think aliens are finally... Do you think they're going to do anything? I like how they found a big octagon-shaped thing that had strings falling from it, and I'm like, aliens think that. They're like, we see humans with a lot of string. Throw some string on it.
Is there a picture of that?
I don't think there is. I was reading reports about it.
I saw there was an octagonal thing, and I was like, okay, what else is octagonal? Is a stop sign hexagonal?
I just picture you thinking, and then like a stop sign like
floating it. I'm like thinking of octagonal things.
You're like one.
How many sides? What about a beehive? Those are hexagons too, right? I'm thinking of like natural shapes.
The octagon is octang. Yeah, it says the U.S. military shoots down a fourth aerial object having octagonal shape with strings hanging off.
Yeah, they look at this shit. There's strings everywhere.
They wear like a lot of string. Just throw
they
some
have
strings
coming from their heads. They have strings like that connect all of their electronics to the wall.
How funny would it be to like let's just the dumb scenario that doesn't exist. You know, we start making peace treaties with them. We try to treat them like Native Americans, but they quickly decimate most of us. And then so we're like going on their planet, and then we see what they think of us.
Oh, and it's sort of like an amusement park for their people to like go and witness what.
Or like we're in the bureaucratic alien office, and they're like, "Yeah, you guys are the string planet," and we're like, "String planet." And they're like, "Yeah, you guys are obsessed with the manufacturing of string," and we're like,
"String everywhere." We don't understand what your obsession is.
We're like showing them paintings, but we paint, and they're like, "What?
What about music?"
We also
do you cook your food? Do you cook? We can cook.
Do you move your hips?
Can you dance? Do you dance, aliens? Would you like to? Would you like to dance? We could teach you some moves.
Like they send us up to
We're like, this is a Carlton. It comes from TV.
You guys want pepperoni?
So we invented this thing called turducken. It's where you put a chicken inside of a duck.
Are just like, you want me to kill all of them? And we're like, no, wait. Lunch meat.
We have 12 types of mustard.
Would you like to try them? And you're just like,
and they're like, are they serious? This is what they've been working on? Fucking mustard? It's like, yes, dude. And we figured out how to make ice cubes that are clear.
And we're just getting like broomed into the Sarlacc pit of like knives. Wait, have you guys ever had a brownie?
We don't think it's trivial. It makes our existence a lot more pleasurable. But you guys are over pleasure, I guess.
You guys, it's way easier to live down here versus your...
With your conquest and your interstellar
your
travel.
Space travel. Ooh.
We're critical of you. We're critical.
Love us. Love us.
Love us though. Love us. We make meatloaf.
I've always, and this is, but let's jump into the Whitney Canal.
Here we go.
It's like gross, like it's a small world after all. That reminds me of another question. I'm gonna ask you after this.
I'm just gonna open my notebook so I can write stuff.
Have you ever sat in the dressing aisle at the grocery store and gone like, oh my God, there's light blue ranch, there's light blue, there's blue ranch cheese, there's there's 300 of them.
I often go into spiraling thoughts about Paul Newman and his impact on the dressing industry.
What is the deal with Paul Newman?
He's an actor.
Yeah, he was an actor, right? And then he took over,
started making dressing, and now he's got a dress. I don't know. That's all I know. I don't know what it is about Cool Hand Luke. He wanted to make the perfect ranch dressing, and that's his legacy. I don't know.
It's all awful because if you make dressing, you understand that its life is not that long.
Yeah, it's like packed with preservatives.
So that's mostly what you get, and it's just like, I always feel like if I buy a bottle of dressing and I put it on like really nice greens, I feel like it's the same as getting a bottle of conditioner. I was like,
shitting on
I'm
it.
sure I could eat conditioner. I'm sure that won't kill me, and it'll give me the same amount of diarrhea on the salad.
It's such a propagator of garbage too, because it's like such a simple thing to put together. Usually, dressing is like,
no one buys it.
I think a lot of people buy dressing.
Do you really
I think a lot
so?
of people have like 9 dressing bottles in their fridge.
And they sit in there for a year and a half.
At least.
They like pick the crust around it every time.
Sometimes the crust falls into the salad with their dressing.
And then you're like, oh, well, that's okay.
But it would be interesting to look into like all the foods that have unnecessary packaging. I remember there was like an uproar when Whole Foods was selling orange segments in like a plastic container. Because it's like, you dipshits, oranges come with their own biodegradable container.
But if I cut it for them, I can charge them $8 for it.
Yeah, it's like, well, they don't want to get their hands sticky by peeling it. It's like, fuck you. You're filling the world with garbage.
My fucking skin burns a little bit every time I go into Whole Foods. It is such a fucking joke. It is a joke and it is a scam. And it's like, the hot bar is great. And I wish more, sometimes you just want to grab lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not paying $36 for grapefruit juice.
Oh, yeah. Whole Foods is a travesty. It's a sham. Like you said, it's like all about appearances. I knew someone who worked there for a little while, and he was like, this is my favorite grocery store. I want to work there and see how they make everything so amazing. And then he got completely disillusioned when he saw how much food they throw away because it doesn't look beautiful, and it's all about just like making it look abundant and plentiful. And I think that's a larger issue though with our like sense organs. Like we need to see that something is desirable before we want to buy it. And I think that's the reason why there's so much fucking packaging. Like you wouldn't buy something if it didn't look good.
I was just thinking this last night as I threw away my 13th box of Triscuits because I fucking live off of those things. I was like, I don't need... They're shipping it, right? So that's part of it. They're shipping this thing. But I was like, how far away are things being manufactured? I don't know. Oh, God, that's a whole... And
then there's shelf life, and there's like, it's, you know...
Once again, it hasn't really changed much since its birth. Like, since the grocery store was born in, like, the 20s. You know, it's still just like, look at all this stuff that you're going to let rot in your...
And it comes back to our discovery of fossil fuels and our industrialization, and then all of the products.
We're feeling big picture today right now.
Petroleum. It's like everything is happening everywhere all at once.
Okay, the question I just wanted that popped into my mind that I really want to ask you is like, okay, we hop into Megan World, and we're going to hop on the Megan It's a Small World After All ride, and we are going to pass by 3 animatronic scenes. What animatronic scenes? What's the first thing that comes to mind? You don't have to put a lot of thought into it because we can just fuck around real quick.
My dad's sitting in a garage. Like,
what's he doing?
He's drinking a Diet Pepsi and he's smoking a cigarette. He's sitting in a chair. He's like, okay, it's like... And then I'm in the driveway and I'm barefoot and I'm going... Ow! Like looking at the bottom of my foot because I stepped on a burning cigarette butt. And I think what would my brother be doing? Maybe like breaking a window with a brick.
Yeah, okay, so we start left to right. We see somebody trying to break in. And then your house is cut in half. And we see your dad. Or no, he's out. He's in the garage.
He's in the garage.
We see him in the garage.
Like, smoke, good.
Drink, great.
Pepsi. That's what first came to mind. What would my second scene be? Further along in my
I was about to say further along down the line.
Adolescent Megan. I want to say I'm with my friend JD, and Hurricane Isabel just happened, and we're collecting firewood from the woods near our townhouse development so we can cook all the stuff that's in the freezer. And we call it lumberjacking because we're both wearing flannels. And some mixture of that scene and then the scene where me and JD and Josh and Brittany are in my room on my futon bunk bed and we all just smoked weed. And for me, it was the first time. And JD plays a siren from his phone and I completely lose my mind.
What an asshole.
Because I think the cops are here because we just smoked weed and I'm on the top of my bunk bed like, oh no. So it would be some combination of the firewood and the grilling of random meats in the backyard and like the
getting high for the first time
in my bedroom, which is covered in paintings and like pictures of all my friends. Paintings done by my friends. And like JD made this, he like free-handed a stencil that said fight the power, and he like did fire behind it, and it's like, so there's a big part of my wall that says fight the power.
Fight the power.
What would the third scene be? Washing dishes, I guess.
I was like, that's the next iteration of Side Tangent. That's the next iteration of Let's Eat Austin is an assistant.
That's what Kyle and I were talking about because I told him about how much better we've been doing, you know.
It's like, so you can
direct bookings.
Hire somebody to go grab all the stuff. And,
he was like, imagine having somebody who does the dishes, or he said busboy and dishwasher, but to think about somebody who would buy all of the food ahead of time, that'd be insane.
You show up.
Like a kitchen manager.
And yeah, that's what it would be. Like a real... I feel like we're getting there. Sorry, that's an off-camera topic. But I feel like I see how many emails are coming in.
Oh, good, you're on?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
I don't want to open them because I don't know if that fucks with people's...
Sometimes, like it used to fuck with me because I would look for the unread ones, but then I realized that Aaron will look at something and then like kind of leave it. So I'll kind of skim the subjects and make sure they have been attended to. But sometimes we'll just star things that are really important or that we want someone else to see. Let's eat Austin. You could book
no, I was thinking your
class.
third one would be like your apartment because I feel like your apartment is really like your nexus and your landing pad. It's the first time you've lived alone.
I lived in a basement apartment by myself in Charlottesville for a little while, which was interesting because I was living in a house with my boyfriend at the time and our two friends, Gabe and Ellen. And at one point I was like, I want to live alone. I just don't want to live here anymore. And he was like, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And I don't know why I didn't just be like, hey, like we should probably break up because I'm not like I would just want to be alone. But I was just thinking like I can do this and we can keep this thing going and it'll be fine for everyone and no one has to suffer.
One of the first things I want to teach Ruby is like communicate effectively no matter the cost because it's like, yeah, a lot of my life was wasted on that too. It's just like not, and I guess it's like part of that's not knowing. You're like, well, but I kind of want it that way. And you're like, well, that doesn't make sense, you know?
Yeah. But his happiness is so important to me. It's like more important than your own, you dum-dum.
But it's funny because you need that to rear children, right? You need
putting
that,
someone else's needs in front of yours.
I saw, this is me, Existential Corner. Ruby got like a little magazine, a little National Geographic, and on the cover it's a rhino and a baby rhino, and it's like every day the baby rhino spends with its mom to get stronger. And I was like, imagine coming into this world without like your ride or die bitch. Moms are ride or die bitches. Like you need a chaperone. Unconditional chaperone, at least to the point of where you're 5 years old or something, you know, the point of beyond serial killer life. And it can only work that way. And then there's issues with that because you have that undying, unconditional list. But since we don't have mothers saying, hey, this aspect of you is special and sacred, save it for your spawn. It's not for anyone else. Because even in romantic relationships, you have to claim, no, this is what you have to operate as an adult, not as a mother.
I see. Like, don't be a doormat. This is not a quality that extends to everybody.
Now. You know, it's like, oh God, if somebody would have told me that like a million years ago, everything would have been so.
Yeah, right out of the gate, I wanted to change everything I could to make someone else happy, to accommodate.
And what if somebody identified that and said, that's for your that's only for your children? And you would have been like, and then from there on, you would have started instead of like
confused. Like, what does it mean to be me and not care about serving others?
I feel like there's a big shift happening right now with that too, because I'll keep them anonymous, but they're like, my therapist wants me to separate from my guilt. And she's like, I don't know how to do that.
Guilt about what?
She's guilty about everything all the time. You know, how the interaction went, how the thing went. Saying yes all the time, never saying no. And she's built her entire identity on that. And now we have to separate. So that part, that's not you. And I've been doing that with my anger. My anger is not me. And it is, I'm going to look at it. Oh man, I'm really mad right now. Okay. Like you see people get really lost in their emotions and it overtakes them and it becomes everything. It saturates and then they lose that shiny cave gem of like, you know, I hate to like categorize it as responsibility or maturity, but that's kind of what it is. Like I am unwavering. You cannot touch this. I am guarding my own shit. You know, which I've only learned through, you know, thousands of dollars worth of therapy.
Yeah, I just saw the charge for the month come out for BetterHelp. And I'm like, it's.
I mean, yeah.
Hasn't really made an impact yet. I've only done it twice, but you're charging me again? Okay. Oh, no, I'll just give it a chance.
Yeah, I remember going to my therapist being like, I can see you half the amount that I do now because it sucks it sucks that you got to pay for it, but
it's important.
It's so important. I've learned so much and I'm so excited that you're on that journey too. And
yeah, I think that it's a net good.
Yes.
And if I get a certain amount of chits for doing a bunch of dishes and grocery shopping and showing people how to make dinner, some of those chits will be allotted to my mental health.
Yeah.
That's how I'll allot my chits.
I think that Let's Eat Us, we're coming out of the COVID stuff because just now you're starting to see places be fucking popping. And it's been over 2 years, almost 3 years. So it's like shit's about to get busy.
Yeah, I was thinking about the business that I did this past week, 14 on Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
And then I helped Aaron with the 16
I was like,
Friday.
Oh, it's this big group. And you're like, no, it's 7 couples. And I was like,
7 couples.
I was like, whoa, 7 entities booked.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was a big party.
They're all getting like that now.
Yeah.
They're all over 10. Well, on Sunday I did 8 for brunch and then 6 for mussels. You're
at a point where it's like, this is worth it. It's not the fucking 2 people crap.
It's hard to get out of bed and do the whole rigmarole for 2 guests, but it does give you that necessary practice, which is essential. But I wrote down distilling the me.
Distilling the you.
Yeah, because I often wonder, I was driving over here and I was thinking about how skeptical I really am and how I've never really experienced anything that was stable and unwavering. And my therapist and I talked about this briefly last time, how I'm used to instability and I'm used to chaos and sort of I'm used to just adjusting new, because when I texted you like I'm coming over your house soon, I knew that we had said like start at 9:30 so we can go do this and go do that.
But were you waiting for
I was like, I don't really think that is set in stone. I was driving over here like, we already said 9:30. Why did you ask like when I should come over? And then I was just like, oh, like I don't trust anything. I don't trust that anything is stable or real or true. So if I like make plans with somebody and they're not like, they don't reconfirm or I don't get that additional reassurance, I don't think it's going to happen.
Wow.
And that was
and imagine how much that piles up and affects your perception.
Definitely. And it's just interesting to think about and give attention to how that informs how I behave too.
Yeah.
Just like very on the whatever, like rolling with the punches, just like spontaneous, impulsive, just like doing whatever it feels like I want to do right now.
Whoa.
Because I don't really believe in the future or the past. Like it's now. Whatever's happening is what I'm doing.
Whoa.
It's crazy. But I have experienced I was thinking about what things are stable for me. And it's definitely been you, and our relationship has been very stable. And Aaron has been very stable. Our business that we've built has been very stable. So I'm open to whatever the next experience is. And I'm grateful, but I am just becoming more aware of like,
and how much
the things that are me.
How much self-destruction is in that too? Because that's what I dealt with when things suddenly became stable. As I remember acting out that I didn't know
try and destroy it.
I wasn't being cognizant of it. I had no idea. I just knew that I was angry because I didn't.
Like, this is unfamiliar to me. I want it to be familiar. I didn't deserve
it or something. Right. Like the subconscious thing was like, I didn't deserve a dude who was just like, no, I don't want to hurt you. Why are you saying that?
I think you're special.
I
want to take care of you and, marvel at you. it's like such a new experience. You're just like, this feels gross. I would rather just be like,
you're
spit
evil,
on
right?
And kicked. Could
just
you
hit me,
like cuss at me and tell me that I suck? It's scary, like how much our opinion of ourselves informs how other people treat us.
Yeah.
And how unacceptable it would be to be revered in that way and just not be ready to be revered. Like, I can't take this.
I've just seen what little tiny bits of communicating properly can really do to people.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it's like not twisting what someone has said into like a different meaning. Because like I'll project a lot of things onto what other people are doing or saying. And then if someone is like, I think you might be projecting. And then I'm like, oh shit. I totally assumed so many different things. And it impacted the way that I reacted to what you said. Even though you said 5 words, I took it as like 500 words.
Well, and that's the spiritual practice. Stay in the moment. Because I realized, like, so for the listeners, I have a habitual depression. Like if Lucas leaves and I'm here all day, and that came from like high school, like when no one was ever home and I was left to my own devices all the time and I felt really isolated. And just habitual depression. Fuck, where was I going? What did you just say?
Habitual depression. You have a habitual depression.
What did you talk about with you just
prior
now?
to that? I said,
God, I got foomed. I got bank teller foomed out of my brain.
I hate it when it gets foomed, dog.
Dude,
because I started to
that's
think
so
about
funny.
my mom, and then I was listening to what you were saying, so it swiped my board clean. I was talking about...
Oh God, we just got bank foomed so hard.
I said the person says 5 words, but you interpret it as 500 words.
Yeah,
so you're like,
yeah.
stay in the moment, stay in the moment.
Oh my God, you're talking to the bank teller.
Fuck you!
Oh
Fuck
God.
you!
Fuck yeah! Oh fuck yeah! Wait! It's going
No,
away.
it's coming.
Again.
It's here. It's here. Don't let it go. Okay. 5 words, 500 words, projection. I assume I know what you think, or, you know.
I lose my mind. Like it's like I start to see the physiological or inherited DNA of both sides be like in my paranoid brain, and I'm like, be here now, be here now, be here now, be here now.
I'm here.
Now.
I'm here.
Now.
I'm here.
When I'm here, there's nothing else. When I'm here, there's nothing else. When I'm here, there's nothing else. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then I can like come up for water, because like if you're like us and you're really fucked up, it's like when you start slipping down that slope, it is dark. Dude, the other day, Ruby like fell, and it was first thing in the morning. She like fell, she hit her chin, she's crying. I picked her up. She's like, Mom, I'm sad because I got hurt. And I said, baby, life is going to hurt you a lot more than this. And we got to learn how to we got to learn how to deal with being hurt. Okay.
Yeah.
Life's going to hurt you forever. And Lucas like grabs my shoulder and he goes, and you need to leave the house today. You're fine, Ruby. He was like, here's your cup of coffee. Shut up. I didn't even know he was listening. It's like, babe, life is just going to trample you.
Life is hard and
life
cruel.
is so hard. And I know that like when I tell her that, she's like, I don't like life. And I'm like, okay, I got to like dial it back. If I see you resisting it.
You're 3 years old.
I know I'm a little crazy. I got to turn it down.
I don't think it's crazy. You're just trying to prepare her as best you can.
Yeah, I want her to be like
she
a sergeant the day she leaves.
She seems so advanced already, but like basic concepts. I saw that you guys were looking into death and dying the other day.
Talked about it all morning.
Yeah. And that's like a huge concept. 'Cause you can't have life without death. But when does it really need to come into focus for her? Usually it's when one of your pets die.
I only try to do it when she asks.
Right.
I'm never like, all right,
sit down. Here's your juice. Drink this while
I'm
I tell you.
I'm going to have a will, and you're going to need to follow it, you know.
Oh, Ruby June.
Dude, should we talk about my spooky ghost jammer? I noticed like the episodes about ghosts do really well.
Let's go.
Whatever. Also, we got a little Venmo donation. Somebody was like, I love the chemistry between you and Megan. Like, found me on Instagram. Do you have a Venmo? Yeah. That's where I wish I had a camera pointed at you and a camera pointed at me.
We will get there, young one. We will get there.
And it's only like I have 6 cameras in the house. It's not like I need to go anywhere. So thanks for the donations. My aunt donated us like shit. People want this.
And so we give it.
So we give it.
Dude, Teresa sent me a message on Facebook.
No, what did it say?
It was what is Facebook?
What is Facebook? Farce?
Why does the messaging have a separate app?
I don't do that. Shit drives me nuts. I never get notifications. So if you message me on Facebook, it won't work on my phone.
She said, I hope you don't mind if I share this, madame. Couldn't help but think of you after the last podcast. May your inner people pleaser live her days out in a comfortable retirement home, and may Mr. Bean replace her. So it's this video of Mr. Bean being driven around in a convertible, and he's giving everybody the finger, and it says, my attitude now after being a people pleaser all my life. And it's just Mr. Bean like, doing that, which I love because I am trying to cultivate not an assholiness, or like strictly a selfishness, but it is more self-focused.
It's so funny. Like, you're always like, oh, I don't want to be an asshole. And I'm like, babe, it's not being selfish or a dick or an asshole. But when you've lived on planet people pleaser for so long, it's like anything that's confrontational is
right. Confrontation or like putting my own needs first seems like being an asshole. But I'm definitely working on it. I've been working on it. I would do be working on it.
She be working on it.
Working on it, baby.
Also, Lucas's old coworker, Heather, she's like, I almost crashed my bike listening to you guys laughing so hard.
Oh, shit.
So it's fun. It's fun to get those bits from people you know. And I'm like,
amazing.
oh, I'm sorry you're listening to it. Don't do that.
Don't listen to what we say.
Please don't. All right, we'll finish out with the ghost story.
Wait, it's over?
Wait, I don't know.
I feel like we just started talking.
50 minutes. It's like, I can't read it.
We're at 50?
50.
Okay. Because I wanted you to talk about the balloons. Did you want to talk about the alien balloons? Or the strings?
Oh, this will lead into it.
Okay, cool.
This will lead into it.
Got it.
Okay, so 3 days ago, there's a dog trying to get in my front door incessantly.
Oh, yeah.
Pitbull incessantly, scraping at the door, howling, barking. I go out to investigate this pitbull. Super sweet to me, wants to eat both of my dogs, goes after them. And it's just like, I was like, I don't want to deal with this. She's starting to attack everybody that's going by the house. It's a pitbull. They're fighting dogs for a reason. And
because they're fiercely loyal.
They're fiercely loyal. They just snap. They've got strong jaws. They're just made for it. And she won't stop to the point of like Lucas gets the hose out. Lucas throws a shoe at her. Like, we're trying, go away.
Where did she come from?
Don't know. We go on a walk. She follows us the entire walk. She's part of our pack. She's attacking anybody who comes near the house. She is guarding the house.
Huh.
She will not go in the garage. Like, I'm just trying to like coax her into the garage because it's cold out. Front door. Wouldn't go anywhere else. And Lucas is like making a joke. Maybe it was Peepaw. Like, aww. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. He found us.
The return of Peepaw in a more defensive body so that he can kill an ostrich or whatever.
And I'm getting pissed because the front door is brand new and just painted it. It's like, go away. I don't know you. And then I check the animal shelters. They're full. They're like, no, we're not taking new dogs. And I was like, it's like, Lucas, can you put her in the truck when you go to work and drop her off somewhere around there at a park or something? Like, I don't want to deal with this. And it's all day. In the night, I'm like, fine. I like walk around for the 800th time to the front door. That's not true. This was the first time I was walking to the front door. And I get like psychic gong, like reverberation. I'm disoriented. I like grab the wall and there's like a beam of light into my head. And then the beam of light from this other thing is like going into the sky. And I'm like, I'm so disoriented. I'm like, I can't move. I'm totally sober. It's 6 p.m. I'm like, oh shit. And I like come in and I'm trying to tell Lucas what happened. And he's like, and I'm not making sense. He's like, you need to sit down. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what is happening? And I like voice message Teresa. I'm like, this is just record. If anything happens, this is just record that something happened. Like, are you feeling anything? Because I'd never experienced anything like that. Like when dead people come to you, it's much more soft and subtle and you kind of have to like tune in. Yeah. This was like, oh my God. Next day, I see that Christ the Redeemer statue was hit by lightning on the head that night. I saw that photo and it like really like pinged me really hard because I was like, what the fuck is happening? What was that? Is that the aliens shooting lightning at the Jesus? Or how many did 28 people on Earth all experience that same thing at that one time?
Yeah, I'm thinking, is there a forum where you can go to report these types of experiences and like share in the collective experience?
Yes. I do that group with Sarah.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday. So I was like, definitely gonna ask. I was like, hey, did anybody feel anything weird on this day? And then like
6:03 p.m. on
that night, I was like, they're like, we're gonna finish downloading, and then I was handed a pile of golden plates like keychained together in my dream.
Wait, who said we're gonna finish downloading?
Just there was just like some knowing in my dream, and then I was like kind of stuck. You know, like if you have sleep paralysis and you think somebody's breaking into your house or.
Do you experience sleep paralysis?
I have, yeah.
Whoa. I don't think I've ever had that happen.
It's terrifying. Before. You're like stuck and you're screaming in your head. And it's so funny. It's like, why with sleep paralysis is there always something after you? That's what I don't understand.
Why does your brain or like your thoughts and whatever put you into this realm where you're afraid? There's like always something to fear. You can't just go into like a peaceful, blissful realm. Like what if when you dream you like woke up and you're like, whoa, I was like smoking pot with Jesus and we were eating Turkish delight and we were like on a yacht.
No, it's like the SWAT team breaking in and busting down your door and being bit by attack dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you interpret that pinging, the strong... That cold light, like what?
Fun fact, this is validated. The door in the office is a place where things go. Sarah brought it up when she was here, and I always hear this. Like if you sit in the office long enough on certain days, you'll hear.
On the door?
Yes, on my closet door.
Whoa.
And so I asked Sarah about that. I was like, there's no AC on. There's no window open. It's driving me nuts. And she's like, somebody's trying to get your attention. She's like, usually they'll find like little weird stuff like that. And they'll do that. And I remember tuning into that a long time ago. And that's where my cousin's ex-husband showed up. Like,
oh, yeah.
And you're like, ah! So I've been in the idea is not when you're doing mediumship work and stuff, you don't discredit that. You don't go, oh, that's the wind.
Right.
Because it's all hidden right in front of you. So I tuned into that the other night because I was like, you're in there for an hour, 2 hours editing. I'm like, fuck. And so I tuned into it. And it was my guides. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, very aggressive. And they're always trying to make me feel small, which is good. Like, it's like an
ego shrinker?
Yes. They're like, you need to get on your fucking meditation shit. This isn't about you. They're always telling me that. This isn't about you.
Like, you're a conduit. We need to share things through you.
You need to do this. get Lucas, and I was like writing all this shit down. I'm like, God, you guys are so mean today.
What is the goal, you think?
I think that in order to shift collective consciousness on a quantum level, you have to, so everybody's reality is a reflection of them, right? That's kind of like, we live in a simulator. It's like, I think that's what people are talking about. We can manifest our reality. Mm-hmm. We manifest the things in front of us, which also isn't always necessarily quantum physics or metaphysical. It's like, yeah, if you're a dickhead, you attract dickhead circumstances to you.
True. It's almost like cause and effect.
Right. So if you're sifting upwards, going like, oh, that doesn't bother me. Oh, I need to be more responsible. Oh, I should do this more. I should straighten up, button up on a social level. Mm-hmm. I am addicted to that. I'm always addicted to the challenges, facing the challenges, shaking the challenges.
Changing
the circumstances. I've been like that since the beginning. So when I was agnostic and I didn't have spirituality gave work on yourself. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. And then you do it and you're like, wow, this is really hard. I like that. It hurts. I like that. It's like kind of like that. So I think there's just shit you got to do, and it's not about you. It's just about, there's something recently, like, this is an example. Anecdotal. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Erica was like up my butt with a coconut about opening up a kids playscape thing with like food, because I had like mentioned it and I was like, Erica's I'm not gonna do that. Not right now. Maybe later. I've got like the Let's Eat Austin thing, the motorcycle thing. I was like, I'm not doing that right now. Boundary, like, mm-hmm. Because it's always fun to like sit and not pontificate, but like, shoot the shit with somebody.
Yeah,
about
sort
that.
of brainstorm.
And when I shut it down, I was like, oh, was that too harsh or whatever? Yesterday, she's like, I want to open something. And I was like,
whoa.
Just something she would not, she's a people pleaser and, she's like, hides and stuff. And so something as simple on a metaphysical level of me being like, no, wall.
That won't come from me.
That won't come from me.
It's got to come from you.
People go, but I want it. And it's like, but they would never do that if we just sat and shot the shit for the next 5 years.
Right. Like, oh yeah, I really need to get around to...
It was a big thing with my mom too. I'm like, she's like, will you open a spot and then and I'm like, no. I'm not doing that for you.
No.
So those things make people flip. So think about that on a quantum level. Like when you're like, no, how much that energy kind of gets shot back at them.
Yeah. The decisiveness is like, it carries a higher charge or something. And we're talking about like quantum mechanics, something about being decisive and like, just like determining that it's not going to go that way. That's not an option. And I've never ever been like that. I'm always just like open to any possibilities. If there's a door, I'll walk through it and see what happens. Like, it's interesting to think about what my life would be like if I had been more decisive in different situations.
Well, yeah, it's like everybody gets diagnosed with ADD and ADHD like myself because they didn't have a parent going like, hey, okay, so this is how you sit down and do your homework. Okay, I'm going to show you real quick. This is how, things are going to get hard, but you need to push through it.
I can't. You can't. No.
I thought when things get hard, you run away and then you try something else and then you just hide from everybody forever.
I thought if it was too hard, you just don't do it.
That's something I learned not only from Lucas. He was like, man, your parents really fucking dropped the ball. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't know how to do like basic stuff. I was like, well, yeah, I was diagnosed with whatever. And he's like, okay, yeah, but like, this is how because the doctor and my psychiatrist at the time was like, here's Adderall, here's Ritalin, here's this, here's that. And I'm like, no.
Pump her up with 50 cc's of this.
No. It's like, I like the work. Mm-hmm. And it's hard though. It's hard as a mother to try to plan out the things because I was never given that. That's what I think ADD is. I'm like, nobody just like wrangled you in like a little Bronco and said, it's okay.
I wonder about all of those people who tried and
gave up
failed.
Right away. I think the giving up thing is such a habitual thing, and it's protective. I need to protect my sanity and myself, and I need to stop doing this. This isn't working for me. I do think that that's also just a survival.
But yeah, it's interesting to think like, when are you allowed to give up? Like, is there ever a time when you set out on a course and you determine this isn't the right path for me?
All the time. And that's part of being decisive.
Right.
Like, oh, I wanted to open up a hot Cheeto milkshake truck. This is my dream. This is my dream. And you're like,
I will stop at nothing to achieve this dream.
Everybody's eyes are melting and their diarrhea is coming out of their butt all the time. Maybe I should give this up. You know, there are things, or you know, Erica was on this path forever about working in the medical field, and if somebody spits, she's like faint. You know, she can't stomach almost anything. And I'm like, okay.
Incompatible qualities.
The universe, and it sucks too, because like the universe shut me going down to college a lot, and now I see why. And I said, Erica, this baby, no. You know, and she's
be a
just
little more
like
DIY.
She's like, no, this is what I have to do. And I'm like, okay, you're not there yet. You'll get there. And she, you know, is just now starting to come to that. So you got to give up on the reality that you think is, you know, the fucking end all be all. It's like, you got to learn that is the path or it's not the path. And
yeah, that's the most quizzical thing to me.
There's no
knowing what the right thing is.
It's flabby muscles that have to be flexed.
Yeah, I just feel like my process is just to adjust to whatever is going on. Not like determine exactly what is best and create it and then go that way. It's just like, I'm good, whatever it is.
For me, it's a good blend of what's constantly coming up, or, you know, like the Let's Eat Austin thing. You're like, you're not going to throw that away because it, you know, it's like, no, this resonates. This feels good. And like the motorcycle vlog shit, that's not ever something in a million fucking years I ever would have thought to do, but it was given to me.
Yeah.
And then I go, no. But it goes, well, okay, well, wait, this is being presented. There's also like a working relationship with the universe about presentation and like.
Short Lord.
I thought you were going straight to the bar. You're like, what's up here?
It's a fucking day off.
Look at Short Lord on a day
Short
off.
Lord. He's got a shirtless shirt. Sleeveless, sorry.
Shortless.
Earlier you said coming up for water, and I was like, I shouldn't correct that. Instead of coming up for air.
You have to. Lucas said he wants to be
on a roll.
Lucas says he wants to be in my earpiece and be like,
like, what would you have said? Like, hey, babe, really quick, just say come up for air.
I came up for water.
Look, the more you pinball me, the better I'll get at being like, okay, yeah, air, and then like keep going.
But I see you doing it to yourself too, though.
Yeah.
Like you're about to say pontificate, but then you're like, no, I mean something different.
Well, that's what this sigil is.
What? The correction?
Yes. Speaking correctly and without effort. I got it tattooed on my fucking body to let the shit flow. Because I was like, maybe if this archangel sigil is tattooed on my forehead, I could just speak better. And it works. It does work.
Good. I think you speak beautifully.
Thank you. I'm trying.
She's just opening her conduit.
I didn't have much about the UFOs besides like, this isn't new. They often show up when there's mass earthquakes and big shifts. UFOs are in biblical paintings. They come around. They dick off. I think they like to drop things with string on them to like, this is what
they
it
love
looks.
String down there. I
want you to think that someone else from your planet made this because I don't know. I feel like they know how fragile we are and how fragile our society is. So they just, I don't know, kind of like rocking the boat a little bit to be like, we live in the ocean too.
I was watching the PBS NewsHour this morning, and they talked about the weather balloons or information gatherers or whatever people are calling them.
Fuck your weather balloon bullshit. Shove that up your
weather
fucking
balloons.
ass.
So what I gathered was that NORAD, the North, Canada and the U.S., they're watching the skies.
Their butt cheeks, yeah.
They usually reduce the things that show up on radar determined by, or like based on the speed of the object, because there are so many floating information gathering tools up there. So they, for example, they don't want to see anything that's less than 60 knots because it would totally cloud up the radar and you wouldn't really be able to see anything because it would just be covered. So they recently allowed for slower objects to show up on radar. So now we have this proliferation of objects suddenly that we're noticing instead of them just falling by the wayside and going unnoticed. So I briefly heard that this morning, and it made me think like, oh, well, what if this shit is always there and we just didn't see it before, you know? And so they were talking also about how information gathering, weather balloons and tools used for science have a goal. They go up into the atmosphere, they gather whatever they're trying to gather, and then they come back down. These objects, the octagonal string object,
was shot down by an F-12.
was up there for days, like a long time, and wasn't coming down. And the way that it was moving was different from the way that these tools put out by scientists and monitored by, you know, organizations that do these types of things. They weren't behaving the same way. So I want to believe, but I always come back to the skeptic part, like, how can we prove beyond a shadow of a doubt?
They're going to brief today.
The president?
The government intelligence agencies are going to give a brief today about... I was reading it last night, what they were saying, and somebody immediately asked, is it aliens? And the intelligence general was like, I'm not ruling aliens out at this moment. So today, like, we're all waiting for the brief to come out because they're going to give a little bit more information. But right now they were kind of, because of like some of the work that Tom DeLonge's media company has done, and they cannot lie anymore, that they're like, okay, yeah, no, that doesn't look, you know. So I'm excited to see what they say. And I think it's good to be skeptical.
Yeah.
I also think there was, this happened in the early 90s, late 80s. There was reports over Lake Michigan. And there was a meteorologist who was fucking calling the federal agencies like, there's something. He was like, there was something going on.
Was that on Unsolved Mysteries?
Yes, the old one.
Yeah.
And he was smacked down, ridiculed.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people saw it. It was like blasting light into people's rooms. People were running outside. They thought they were being attacked. There's like hundreds of account witnesses of like some insane UFO, multi-light, inexplicable meteorologist is on the phone, freaking the fuck out. He has to he has to give up his job.
He lost his career.
He lost everything because nobody
so unfair.
Believed him. And then they came in and said it was weather balloons. And everybody was like, there was no.
There's no way. Yeah, Kyle and I watched that episode.
Swamp gas. It was swamp gas.
Fucking swamp gas. Any phenomena that you can't explain is just swamp gas.
Dude, that should be on our shirts.
Gas.
This is fucking swamp gas.
Yeah, and it has an arrow pointing at our butts.
Swamp gas.
Or the front is like, what is it? Unknown phenomena you're trying to identify. Paranormal phenomena, and then it's like, it's just swamp gas. It points to our butt. Scar.
Call 1-800-SWAMP-GAS.
Dab. I wish we could do this for 5 hours.
It does kind of seem like it should be longer. I love that was... I've been listening to you make the Avril Lavigne sound. Yeah. I've never heard that sound. Yeah. And how some part of that vocal register and pattern and cadence like resonated within you.
Yeah.
To a point of no return.
Yeah, it's like when I do it, I don't think about Avril. What are you up to, Avril? I hope you're doing well.
Oh, dude, she's like going the way of Madonna, like just altering her face and doesn't seem like she's really present on Earth anymore a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
And
her face, I mean, gosh, I hate going into this topic because everybody's got to do whatever they got to do. And I hate to be judgmental.
No, and you're free to do whatever you want.
You're so pretty, dog. What happened?
Well, I don't make judgments until I saw videos of Madonna going, and then the thing happened. You're bad. And I'm like, oh, you're not here anymore.
I can't even fathom the amount of interactions she's had, like with people.
I think what happens is celebrity and idolization takes over and it mummifies you, and then now you are just Nicki Minaj, same way.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm the motherfucking queen.
Well, yeah, and then they can't talk because they're so busy trying to like
maintain the image.
My body hurts. And
it's
you're
like the opposite of ego death.
Yes, it's ego takeover.
It's ego takeover.
So that happened to Madonna, which is sad. But I have to honor her suffering. It happened to Nicki Minaj and Avril Lavigne. I saw some videos of her trying to talk. And I'm like, it fucking happened to you too.
Wow.
You got ego mummified. And she was wearing like a tutu and a crown. And I'm like, ew.
What?
And then she married some dude who's only marrying her for the notoriety. He's like from some Minneapolis emo band. And he just married her solely because like he wants his music to take off. And like people, I'm like friends with people who knew him. And they're like, this motherfucker's just doing this for clout. Fuck him.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go back and forth on the fame thing. Like I think it would be great to have a platform to put forth beneficial ideas. But as far as like myself, everyone must see and drink of whatever I have to give.
Do you remember though when I was asking you actresses that have aged gracefully, and you had a bunch ready to go?
Glenn Close, Helen Mirren.
You just got to put them up on Sigourney Weaver. It's like those are like the
Susan
fucking
Sarandon.
hot. Those are the hot badasses. That
Dude, I've always been so attracted to Susan Sarandon.
So you can be like, this is my fucking brand, and this is who I am, and listen to me, but age like and do it in a way that. Like you and I will never be ego taken over. It's just like it's not interesting, but we also know that we don't want to work ever again. So, I mean, there's something about that aspect.
No, I think it is different to sort of ride on your ideas and your creations as opposed to your image.
And I feel like if you and I had like 6 figures to go to the plastic surgeon, you and I would be like, can you make a hard erect cock on my forehead? Like you and I would become like,
I want a dick here. I want a dick here. And I want them to turn into spikes if I need that.
We'd be like the centaurs of the modern, of like the future. Like I
want to have a mermaid function. Yeah. Dude, I need to be able to swap out my legs for flippers as needed. Or I think it'd be cool to like increase our breathing apparatus.
Yeah.
So we could like dive into the ocean. I don't know, some type of like pressurized, like improve my skull so I can go deeper. I don't know.
Yeah, then
like
the
modifications. And they're like, wait, you don't want tits? I'm like, yeah, I want tits too,
tits
but also
butt. Or we can take the fat from your butt and put it in your lips, and then
do you want us to change your nose? We could put your eyelids.
Cardi B got some plastic surgery. She's like I said, I don't know what's going on. She doesn't have any of those ego takeover video interviews yet. So
she's so real.
So get your nose done.
Oh, she got her nose done. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what, you got to do it. Whatever you got to do,
you got to take the thing that you were born with and you got to change it. All right, listen to me right now. If you don't like it, fucking change it. Get rid of it. Yeah. No. We're here to say, which feels like a call of sadness and despair and validity.
In unity in those feelings.
And,
it's like we all feel this. Let's feel it together.
But there's also remorse to the death of authenticity.
Maybe it's Renaissance. Maybe there's a renaissance, a rebirth of authenticity, a return to what is important.
Your face.
It's not your nose.
It's not your nose. What is important? How you're being perceived? Because that's the vibe that I'm getting from people who do that.
How you're being perceived. Maybe just your impact more generally. Like how you affect others. Some people affect others visually. And some people get up into their brain stems.
It's weird that we don't have like personality surgery yet.
That's therapy.
I know.
I want
somebody to feel like they can just go to the doctor and cut this part out. I don't like it.
That's like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where you go and have memories removed so that you can move on.
Dude, that movie fucked me up.
We could go on and on about.
No, I won't. We'll just leave you guys on that sad note.
I'm not sad. Are you sad?
No.
You can be sad.
No, I've never been sad. I don't know what it's like to be sad.
Are you gonna buy a bottle of bubbles today?
I've got some in the fridge. Are you gonna buy some bubbles? You're gonna make some bomb ass fucking lasagna.
I'm definitely gonna make lasagna, but
it goes in ya, not on ya.
I don't know. I have a little bit of wine. I'm gonna put in the bolognese.
That doesn't count. That don't count.
I'll get us a special little delicious drink. Not sure what it will be. Maybe Miller High Life, the champagne of beers.
Champagne of beers.
A couple of tall boys.
That sounds nice.
That's what we took to that party on Saturday.
How was the party? Wait,
it was funny.
Okay, well, I want to hear all about it. And you guys, sign up at our Patreon if you want to fucking hear about it.
And see our feet.
And see our